Charlotte Motor Speedway. Numerous cars have attempted to qualify for the event, and here you are, ready to qualify. The last car to go out and take time. Make it. Your team races and you still have a job. Food is on your table this week, and you know where your rent money is going to come from. Miss it, even by 1/1000th of a second, and your future lies in question. Are you really good enough to run at this level? Is a pink slip in your future? Is the sheriff's office waiting to evict you from your apartment? 28 seconds around a 1.5 mile oval will determine your fate. Barreling off into the corners in excess of 200 miles per hour, your hands shake, your body sweats, your eyes catch every little ray of light glimmering off the racetrack in front of you. You see nothing except that cold, long, dark piece of asphalt out your windshield as it glides underneath you, just inches below your clenched cheeks as you come off of turn 4 and see the green flag waving in the air. This is it. This is your time. Who will make it? Now it's your turn in line. This is the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge exclusively on the Web Racing Network. Good evening and welcome to the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina, and the Web Racing Network's live exclusive coverage of the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by the Short Track Pro Cup and iRacing.com. I'm your host, Tony Stevens, and I'm joined tonight by Truro, Nova Scotia's Tim Terry, Warren, Pennsylvania's Dan Lyon for this, the most climactic event ever seen live on the Web Racing Network. And while Richard Towler's $10,000 payday at Homestead last month was something pretty spectacular for sim racing, Tim, nothing compares to tonight's event where over $2,000 will be paid out to the participants, and the fastest qualifier receives a check worth $1,000.
That's right, Tony. You talk about Richard Towler's feat. A full season of racing. This comes down to one lap here this evening. You mentioned $1,000 for your winner. It trickles all the way down to 20th place. Second's going to get $200. Third place gets $150. If you get a top 5, you're guaranteed $100. A top 10 guaranteed $50. 15th guaranteed $25, and if you finish in the top 20, you're guaranteed at least $15. Your purse is $2,000 this evening, and I tell you what, it's going to be a high-pressure situation when these guys hit the racetrack in just a few months' time.
And Dan, for that matter, Tim talks about high pressure. This is the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I mean, it is the home to almost every NASCAR team. Pretty much could be the home to almost the entire WRM broadcast team in the near future. But this place has been around since the 1960s, and it already hosts a number of prestigious races, such as the Coke 600, the Sprint All-Star Race for NASCAR. But tonight, however, Dan, 40 of this week's fastest iRacers will be tackling probably one of the most unique tracks in all of racing.
Oh, definitely, Tony. This track, home to a bunch of stuff. You also forgot to mention the Legends Million, the annual one that took place earlier this summer. This track, 1.5 miles, 24 degrees of banking, located in Concord, North Carolina. Turns number 1 and 2 is extremely different from turns 3 and 4. You're going to see a lot of drivers taking different lines, trying to get the late apex. Setup is a little bit tight. We are running fixed setups here tonight. Everyone has the same setup, and we're going to see who can make it happen. For different lines and guys trying to make it turn and rotate through the center of the corner, especially in turns 3 and 4. That's going to be the tough one to get through. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of clean and green racing here tonight. It's only one lap, so there's going to be no yellows, hopefully, unless someone hits the wall. We're going to have to stop and clean up. But one lap, and it's all for $1,000.
One lap, 28 seconds, Dan. Holy cow, this is going to be one action-packed event, to say the least. And, of course, you might be wondering, how in the world do we figure out who is going to run a lap tonight? Well, it's been pretty simple. For the past few weeks, everybody's had a chance to sign up at Landon Cassill's website, landoncassill.com. I forget exactly how many people entered. I think 120 some odd people entered the inaugural Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. And out of those 125, there were 4 preliminary sessions earlier this week. We took the top 40 combined times out of those 120 some odd attempted qualifiers. And out of the preliminaries, Steve Sheehan was the fastest at Schenectady, New York. Yes, that's a name very familiar to many, many sim racing fans. Been around for probably about a decade or so. Second quick, Jason Loafing Josh Parker, Theo Olson, Jeremy Allen, Kelly Ryan, Brad Wright, the youngster out of North Carolina, Brad Davies, who of course is a mainstay in the sim racing community, Ray Alfala, who just qualified for one of the road racing titles here on iRacing.com, and Richie Davidowitz. Those were the top 10, but Tim Terry, there's some others following those guys that have just as good of a shot here later this evening.
Indeed, you're right, Tony. Stacked competition from 11th through 20th. Galen Winesett going to roll off 11th place, or of course he's going to roll off in reverse order when we get this done. Thomas Hazard, Joey Brown, Josh Berry, no stranger to sim racing fans. John Adams as well. Josh Jones in the top 20 after qualifying. Brian Schoenberg, Jason Anderson, Kevin Bulasa, and Thomas Lewandowski, another driver that's no stranger to big pressure sim racing moments. And Lewandowski will be looking to log $1,000 this evening, Dan.
Yeah, Robert Hall, he's from Hampton, Georgia. He qualified in at the 21st position. Michael Conti, the 13-year-old racer from West Patterson, New Jersey. Jason Maschau from Gilbert, Arizona in the 23rd spot. Henrik Carlson from Stockholm, Sweden. We got some international drivers here tonight in the 24th spot. Chris Henyon, Brian Blackford from Seminole, Florida. Alan Cryer, we call him Matilda here. He knows how to get around this track. He's from Albany, Georgia. Matt Witten, Daryl McKee, and Greg Spears, Tony, from Keller, Texas, rounds out 30th spot.
And, of course, there are some other drivers even behind them. Now, mind you, look at some of these drivers like Jordan Hightower, John Costa, Byron Daly, Harrison Weilitz, Casey Malone. They may have been slower in prelims, but guess what? They've had a few nights to make laps, make that setup go faster because they know what they need to get to in order to have a shot tonight. Other drivers entered here this evening that made the cut. Keith Welch out of Florida, Cody Kutzner, the multi-time kart champion out of California, Jeremy Thornton, Anderson Pays, another international flavor here this evening out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And the last guy to make the cut for the top 40 was Chris Templin out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And he, I think, is probably just happy to make the cut, being that he's pretty much an underground iRacer, if you will, as he puts himself in a nutshell. So 40 drivers made the cut out of the 125 pre-entered and entered into this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge event at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The question is, this is a 1.5 mile high-banked, high-speed, narrow racetrack. How do you get around it? Landon Cassill is going to show us how.
Just getting ready for that one lap for the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge for $1,000 here. Charlotte is not an easy track to qualify. I'm focusing on hitting my mark and staying as focused as possible right now for this one lap. Starting to roll off pit road. Going to short shift through the gears just a little bit. Make sure I don't spin the tires too much. And get the car up to speed as quickly as possible. As I exit turn 2 here on my out lap, I'm looking down the back stretch, just visualizing how I want to get through 3 and 4 on my out lap and how I want to get to the green, because coming to the green as fast as possible is extremely important at a track like Charlotte. So get back to the throttle as hard as I can here. Some decent speed. Going to shortcut the quad oval just a little bit, cut as much time as possible. Looking at my entry in turn 1, can't overdrive it, arc it in. Back to the throttle as hard as I can, keep it nice and tight on the white line. Everybody needs to be low here. That's where the most grip is. Off the 2, that was pretty decent. Looking down the back stretch here, gonna get a nice arc. Overdrive turn 3, gotta get to the gas early. Back to the throttle as hard as I can here. Nice and tight on the white line, coming to the checkered. Hopefully we got a good lap here. Cut the motor at the line. And that's a lap at Charlotte.
And that is a lap at the Charlotte Motor Speedway from the mouth and from the perspective of Landon Cassill, tonight's event sponsor. And Landon is here now in the booth with us. Man, that was a pretty quick trip from the infield. Of course, that's the miracle of pre-recorded segments for television. And Landon, first off, tell us about the inspiration for this event, because it seems like it's probably the most unique event we've ever seen on iRacing and sim racing history, probably for that matter. And of course, here on the Web Racing Network. Talk about first off, what kind of inspired this event?
Really just my practice in iRacing for the Cup races that I ran this year. in the Cup Series, I had to qualify in with these go-or-go-home teams, and I used iRacing because I had nothing else. I'd never been to these racetracks. I'd never driven Cup cars at these tracks, so I'd never done it before. So I'd host qualifying sessions and do as many Q runs as I could, and it got to a point where there were so many people in the sessions that they were helping me, and it obviously showed. I made a lot of races this year, and I definitely contribute a lot of that to iRacing.
And talk about that. I know iRacing loves to talk about how many actual physical world racers are a part of the membership. Of course, probably the most notable, Justin Wilson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., people like that. But you talk about yourself going to these practice servers. How realistic is this? And for that matter, the pressure in this event, how similar is the pressure tonight these guys will be going through, similar to what you have to go through on a weekly basis, trying to make the field for an underfunded team that's not locked into the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series show? Hopefully
it's close. Hopefully the pressure is close. That's why I wanted this to be a one-lap deal. I mean, it was huge for me. I practiced all week on iRacing for Charlotte, went and qualified the Cup car at Charlotte, and used the exact same lift and gas points as I used on iRacing. So I really can't wait to watch this first car roll off here in the next minute or so.
Well, it's going to be exciting to say the least. And, of course, we went over the top 40 guys from the preliminary sessions and what kind of laps they turned. Among them, Steve Sheehan was the fastest guy out there, but a lot of these guys have had a chance to practice over the past few days. Maybe they screwed up in the preliminary session or whatever, but they still squeaked in by the skin of their teeth. Who are you picking to be the guy that walks home with the money tonight?
I got my money on Jason Loafing right now, so we'll see. I like Sheehan. I think he might be a little bit quicker than Loafing, but I think Loafing might have it. I think he's going to run a 28-28, and I think that's going to take the cake.
Well, we'll certainly find out whether that does, in fact, take the cash, or if maybe the pressure gets to somebody and everybody slows down trying to go just that much faster. You know what they say, in order to go fast, you must go slow. And I know you talked about it when you sent this setup out to everybody. Backing the corner up is going to be the biggest thing here, not to overdrive the car. So sit back, Landon, relax, and enjoy the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. So as we get everything set here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, first car preparing to roll off of the pit lane, that will be Chris Templin. Templin, Tim, was the 40th quickest guy coming into tonight, got in by the skin of his teeth, and not to put any pressure or anything on him, but he's going to be the first guy to roll off here in just a matter of moments.
And, Tony, the difference between those two drivers, 40 and 41st, Ben Sexton was 41st, 0.02 of a second. That's the difference between those two drivers. So you know that it was pressure-packed last night, and now there's a little bit more pressure off Chris Templin, Dan, but now the pressure is try to get in the top 20 and try to get a little bit of cash out of this.
Yeah, and he wasn't that far off. I mean, these guys only separated by about 0.3 of a second, so he can pick this up. The Fort Walton Beach, Florida driver is happily married, father of 4. He's self-employed and calls himself an underground iRacer. So we're going to see once he gets out on the track if he can make up a couple of tenths to get up to the top of the board tonight.
He very well may be able to, Dan. Of course, we talked about how everybody possibly maybe screwed up in the preliminary sessions. And, the chance of that is actually kind of low, to be honest with you, for the simple fact, the way these preliminary sessions work, to give you viewers an idea of what's happening tonight, car is going to roll out. They're going to go off pit road onto turn number 1 of the banking. That is their warm-up lap, their up-to-speed lap. They will make a lap, come by, start, finish. The first time by, they will get the green and the white flag. One single lap for all the money. They will cross, start, finish, make their entire lap as Chris Templin now pulls into the pit lane, and he will be going off momentarily. You will get that one single lap. If you hit the wall, if you spin, whatever happens, that's what it is. Like Landon said, all that pressure to hit it just right. Templin in car number 10 is on the racetrack, up on the high side, trying to get that car wound up. 850-plus horsepower Chevrolet Impala SS NASCAR Sprint Cup Series style cars into turn number 3. Our first qualifier, Tim, will round the north end of the speedway and head for the green flag.
Coming for the green flag this time, car number 10, a Chris Templin. That's a Templin Lawnscape number 10. Green flag has flown. This is the money lap for him. Looking to get in the 5, sliding that car around corners number 1 and 2. He will head down the back straightaway. Big wiggle out of corner number 2. That might hurt his lap. This time by, he's going to go through 3 and 4. Checkered flag going to be out at the flag stand for the number 10 of Chris Templin. His time probably going to be affected a little bit by that slide out of corner number 2. His time is going to be shown as a 28.736.
And a 28.736 second lap. I know, Dan, that's probably not exactly what he was looking for.
Now, about 0.2 of a second off what he ran in the prelims last night, Tony. So, tough break for Chris Templin. Doesn't look like he's going to bring home the money tonight.
Of course, that's half a second difference between what Steve Sheehan ran in the prelims and, of course, what he just ran. The actual time may, in fact, slow down as Anderson Pace is on the racetrack in car number 1. He right now at the pit exit commitment line of the speedway, right where the road course crosses over. He now will begin his qualifying attempt. And Pace, remember, from Sao Paulo, Brazil, Tim, 28 years old, a guy used to going in straight lines, a drag racer in real life. He's had about 10 years in one of these simulator things.
Yeah, this is a real international event, Tony. You talked about Brazil on the racetrack, Sweden, Canada, all these different international countries out here. And Dan, Brazil getting ready to take the green flag. We'll see what the number 1 car has this time.
Yeah, I got a lot of fans in the speed chat from Brazil watching Anderson here. The green flag flies. He's got 1 lap to make it happen. You mentioned his lap in prelims, 28.517. We're going to see if he can pick it up here. As we saw, Chris Templin lost a couple of tenths. It looks like he's getting through turns 1 and 2 very well. Not as fast as we've seen some other drivers, especially yesterday in prelim, but going down the back straightaway looks to be pretty quick here, entering turns 3 at about 198 miles an hour. Right down on that white line out of turn number 4. We're going to see what the lap is here. Remember, these drivers only get 1 lap here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Crosses the line, and his lap is going to be a 28.584. Lost a little bit, but not as much as Chris Templin did, Tony.
Did not. That car looked much better. Used more of the racetrack. Templin looked like got very, very loose off of turn number 2. And, of course, it looked like he maybe tried to overcompensate for that. And, of course, that did cost him. Next car on the racetrack is car number 7 of Jeremy Thornton. He right now waiting at the end of the pit lane, waiting for the lollipop man to give him the go sign on that paddle. As Thornton's number 7, he hopes, is lucky number 7. Thornton from Tucson, Arizona. Not very used to this whole pavement thing. He grew up racing dirt late models and dirt modifieds. There's a lot of that out in the western part of the country, for that matter, the Midwest, but it's a whole different beast trying to run one of those machines versus one of these, and he is now on his up-to-speed lap down the back straightaway across the crossover there on the backstretch into turns number 3 and 4 on the warm-up lap. Right through the middle of the racetrack is the number 7 of Thornton. Foot in the gas. Here he comes to the green handkerchief. Lap number 1 and the only lap for Jeremy Thornton is underway as he barrels off into turn number 1, Tim.
Through corners number 1 and 2, we saw this to be the problem spot with Chris Templin. Up the racetrack he goes in corner number 2, down the back straightaway. We'll see what he can do on 3 and 4, but it looks like he's going to have to pick it up a little bit. That number 1 car at the top of the board with that 5.84 might be there after this lap. Out of corner number 4, he comes. Number 7 going to come across the stripe in a time of 28.576. Barely up at the top of the board.
Oh, Tim, imagine if he did not slip multiple times in that lap. Jeremy Thornton is kicking himself. We're probably going to have to talk to him because he is going to be kicking himself after that lap, given what he actually ran compared to what he could have ran. And, of course, it's always the woulda, coulda, shoulda game. And, Dan, you know all about that, having been around this deal for a long time. It's not a matter of woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's a matter of what you actually put on the board. And the next guy out on the racetrack, Cody Kutzner, he's got a little bit of experience in pressure situations.
Yeah, Cody Kutzner in the number 13. He's got multiple karting championships He's from Norco, California. His prelim time was 28.508. Hoping to pick it up here. Got some fans in the speed chat and watching the number 13 get around the track tonight. And you notice, Tony, a lot of drivers, when they came out, the three drivers that came out before, have been driving around the track and getting up on the pavement very quickly. And it looks like Cody driving around on the apron very slow, trying not to hurt the tires, not to hurt the valence of the car. So maybe he knows something that the rest of the drivers don't here tonight, and we're going to see it here as he comes out of turn 4.
Something very, very different for Cody Kutzner. It does appear that car is up to speed, Tim, across the green handkerchief for Cody Kutzner. He, too, barreling off into turn number 1. That car about a car width off the bottom of the speedway through the dip out of turn number 2. Slight bobble, not able to use all the racetrack. Kutzner, though, in excess of 195 miles an hour, barrels into turn number 3.
Looked pretty smooth in 1 and 2, looking smooth in 3 and 4 as he comes out of the corner looking to better a 5.76 lap. What's he got? His money lap goes to a 6.74. That will put him third of the 4 drivers who have taken time so far.
And Kutzner ran a 5.08 in prelims, so certainly not the lap he was looking for, as Keith Welch, the 15 car, the next car on the speedway, he now rolling down the pit lane to the attention of the Lollipop Man at the exit of pit road, looking for the go side of that paddle. And Tim Terry, again, you've got to imagine Keith Welch, he's seen what everybody else has done. Nobody has really backed up their prelim time. Jeremy Thornton, maybe. He's still 0.6 slower than when he ran in the prelims. You got to be thinking, maybe these guys are starting to psych themselves out.
As Keith Welch rolls from pit road, if he backs up his qualifying time, Dan, he's sitting atop of the board by about 7/100ths of a second. Keith, no stranger to pressure situations here in the sim racing world. He's been sim racing for about 15 years, and he's run leagues such as DMP and VRW, so very prestigious leagues that he has ran, and now he's going to take a shot at the money here at the Landon Cassill Challenge.
Yeah, DMP and VRW, some of the best leagues around back in NASCAR 2003, and here still poking around in iRacing with DMP. But Keith Welch, once again from Gainesville, Florida, trying to put that Gator car on the front row. And you mentioned if he can back up his prelim time, which is a 28.506, he will be sitting on the top of the board here tonight. But we've seen everyone basically lose from prelim times than anybody here tonight. He carried a lot of speed through turns 1 and 2, more than anybody we've seen tonight. Got into 3 just a little bit slower, a couple miles per hour slower, but it looked smooth coming out of turn 4. We're going to see what he gets down to here at the start-finish line. And 28.521, lost time from the prelim, but that's going to put him on the provisional pole so far, Tony.
Certainly will, and by far the best attempt at backing up his prelim time for Keith Welch. He will be the 5th of 5 cars to take time so far. The next car on the speedway is going to be Casey Malone. Casey, one of the younger drivers in the number 4 machine. He now waiting at the end of the pit road out of Mansfield, Texas. Started with iRacing in September, guys. 3 months ago. Now, granted, he's got some experience with NASCAR racing 2003, NASCAR sim racing as well, but this only his 3rd and 4th month on the iRacing platform. He, too, pulling the Cody Kutzner strategy, working around the apron in turns 1 and 2, Tim. Now he's going to mash the loud pedal and try to get some momentum as he works down the back straightaway.
And I had the opportunity to take in some of the practice times as he's nearly into that wall going into corner number 3. A couple of the practice sessions earlier in the week, Dan, and Casey Malone might be one of these dark horses to take away a top 10 slot here as we take the green flag with the CJM number 4 down into corner number 1.
Yeah, Casey Malone out of Mansfield, Texas, 18 years old. He's got that blue stripe on the back. We'll mention that a little bit earlier as he wiggles big in turns 1 and 2 up against the outside wall. Had to chase it up there. He is about 4 miles per hour off the pace going into turn 3 is what we've seen our current provisional pole sitter, and he did slide up the track a little bit. I don't think this lap is going to be what Casey would have wanted to turn, but then again, I've been wrong before, and we're going to see right here, and yeah, way off the pace, 28.834. That's going to put him last on the board here tonight, Tony.
Yeah, big slip over in turn number 1 for Casey Malone, and he is going to be very upset at himself as Harrison Weilitz in car number 37 now pulling onto the pit lane, and he too going to make his attempt at qualifying. He was the first car, or I should say the slowest car, I guess, in the 28.4 bracket. Clocked him in 34th quick in the preliminary times. And he, too, a NHRA bracket racer, used to doing the straight lines. Now, granted, he's been around for a long time. He's been around the DMP leagues. He's been around the GSRRacing.net truck series that we'll be having here on WRN later this week. In fact, Monday night, the GSRRacing.net truck series will be at the Dover Speedway on December 20th for their 125-mile contest. And then at Darlington 1 week later. So make sure you stay tuned here to the Web Racing Network for that. As Weidlitz on his qualifying run, his up-to-speed lap into turn number 3, wide entry into the speedway. He's going to be able to drive straight off of turn number 4. You saw that racetrack. Nearly came to contact with the wall off of turn number 4. And Tim Terry, Harrison Weidlitz on the money lap into turn number 1.
Wants every single piece of speed that he can here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. One of the fastest entries into corner number 1 that we have seen all night long. DoorstopNation.com on board the Chevrolet Impala. Nice looking lap through 3 and 4. What does he have? Can he go to the top of the board and top Keith Welch's lap? In the grass he goes. It's going to be a time of 28.550. Second quick.
Second quick for Harrison Weidlitz. And Dan, again, you know, some of these guys have got to be really trying to overthink this lap. And for that matter, Dan, you've been in situations like this. You've talked to some of these guys. What is going through their head at this point in the game?
Tell you what, Tony, this is a lot more nerve-wracking and gut-crunching than in actual big races. If this was a 500-mile race for $1,000, people would be a lot more calm than one lap. Because if you screw up in a race, you have laps to fix it. If you screw up here, you're done. One corner, you're done. No shot for the money. So this is a lot more nerve-wracking right now than it is. Up next, the 31 of Byron Daly. Byron's 19 years old. He's from the Bronx, New York. He's driving for Team Wheelman Incorporated. He's nicknamed the Black Knight after the Batman movie, so we're gonna see how he can go. He just moved, by the way, to Concord, North Carolina, to go to UNC Charlotte. So Byron, a local here at the track, and one of the fastest drivers in the Pro Series, looking to get into DWC. So we're gonna see what he can do as he takes the white flag here, or excuse me, the green flag, Tony.
White flag, green flag, it's all the same, Dan. It's one lap. That's all that matters. So Daly, the first driver calling this his home racetrack on the speedway through turns 1 and 2, not able to use up all the racetrack on the exit of the south end of the speedway. He will fly down the back straightaway, entering turn 3 at 197 miles per hour. He will turn left, right down as close to the white line as he can get. Carry that speed off the banking of turn number 4. Lap in the books for Byron Daly. It is the fastest so far by a good portion. 28.437. 28.437 seconds. That will back up and, for that matter, improve his prelim time. If he were to make that lap in prelims, it would have placed him 27th out of the 40 cars. As we've seen tonight, most everybody, Tim, slowing down on their money lap. Byron Daly, so far, the exception to the rule.
Indeed, you're right, Tony. These guys under a whole lot of pressure. We've mentioned it so many times here this evening, and Byron Daly has been one of the drivers that has lived up to the pressure as he pulls into his pit stall. The number 20, John Costa, pulls out at the other end of pit road. One of the drivers that we talked about, some GS Racing drivers. He's one of the drivers that we see on Monday nights racing in the truck series. The number 20, John Costa, now on the racetrack looking to pick up some speed on the warm-up lap, Dan.
Yeah, Sean Costa from Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. He's been racing for a long time here, Tony, and he's going to look to back up. His prelim time was a 28.482. So if he turns out right now, he's going to be second spot. But we saw Byron Daly pick up. So maybe, just maybe, we're going to see Sean Costa pick up. Looks very, very smooth. 200 miles per hour entering turn number 1, right down on the bottom, slides up just a little bit. Don't see any wiggles out of that car. Don't see it pushing. He wiggled just a little bit there, though, so we're going to see what he can do as he hits 3.
Barreling off again to the 24-degree banks of the north end of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. About a lane up off the bottom near that wall in turn number 4, Dan. The car that eerily resembles Joey Logano's weekend ride cannot do it. Third quick. 28.522, 28.522 for John Costa, the Pennsylvania driver. And he, too, participating in the GSRacing.net Truck Series. It'll be in WRN. We've seen him multiple times this year on the Web Racing Network. But tonight, one lap is not going to be the big payday for Jean Costa. He still may finish in the money, but we will find out here after everybody has made their qualifying attempts. 9 out of 40 cars so far taking time. Jordan Hightower, the next car on the speedway, his preliminary time, 28.473. He's going to have to improve on that if he wants a cut of the big check. The Fort Smith, Arkansas driver came into this deal, Tim, in 2005 with that classic papyrus title of NASCAR Racing 2003. Made the inaugural iRacing Pro Series last year for the NASCAR side, the oval side, and of course the Drivers' World Championship as well. The 20-year-old driver may be facing the biggest payday for 30 seconds worth of work in his life off of turn 4. Green handkerchief is in the air, 28 seconds for Jordan Hightower.
He hustled that car to the green flag going down into corner number 1. The Chevrolet Impala looking to dig towards that white line out of corner number 2. It looks very stable so far. Looks very smooth on this lap for the number 5 of Jordan Hightower. 3 and 4. The final obstacle, little bit of a slide for the number 5 of Jordan Hightower. Out of corner number 4 he comes to the checkered flag this time. Will he be at the top of the board after lap number 1? No, he won't. 8th place. That's going to be a disappointment for him, Dan. I know he was expecting a little more. 28.685.
Yeah, he lost it a lot of time in 3 and 4, getting a little sideways there and pushing up towards the outside wall, trying to dig and get all he could. And coming in 8th place right now, Tony.
And Dan, we're going to take a quick moment or two here to let the officials get everything organized and whatnot. While we do that, we're going to take a minute and talk to our current guy on top of the board, the provisional pole sitter so far in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. Or if you want to think about it in terms of Landon's Sunday job, the guy that's vying for 43rd place. He's got to race his way into the show, boys. Fastest guy here is the one that's going to do it. And right now, the student at UNC Charlotte, Byron Daly, making the move down from New York, is the fastest guy on top of the charts right now. You certainly got a feel for some other drivers. Jordan Hightower, Casey Malone, Chris Templin, big, huge slips in their qualifying effort have negated them to the back half of the top 5. And I do believe we have got a hold of Byron Daly. Car number 31. Originally out of New York, as we said, now residing in the Charlotte area. Byron, are you a little bit nervous yet?
Well, kind of. During that lap, I actually was. I decided not to stuff in the fence and just, get a decent lap in and see what happens. So far, it's hung on for the first batch of qualifiers. I hope not to fall too far. I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to be pole, but should be worth something.
Byron, we talked to Landon at the beginning of the broadcast about the nerves, the emotions of trying to qualify into a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race with an underfunded team that doesn't have the best equipment, but you've got a driver with a lot of heart and a lot of talent trying to wheel and will, W-I-L-L, that car into the race. Take me through the emotional roller coaster so far you've been on, particularly once you climbed in, cranked up, and rolled out to the line to take that lap.
Well, the second you get in the car, you just have to focus. But it's a little bit hard. It's a little hard when you only have one lap because you don't want to stuff in the fence. So you kind of don't want to go all out like you would in a practice session, so you can get across the line. At the same time, you need to do what you can to get the fastest lap so you can get into the race. And at the same time, when the handling characteristics might not be to your favor, it really makes you want to just not stuff in the fence and be real careful and just get around the track. But it's definitely tough, a lot tougher than it looks.
Yeah, it's certainly a very tough chore, not only to get around this 1.5 mile beast of the Southeast, if you will, but the behemoth that is the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Byron, I know while we sit here, and you just have to sit here and watch the leaderboard and watch your heart and your heart rate and the blood pressure as things go on. I know you're trying to work your way into the world of Legends car racing and possibly get a Legends car or a Bando, or maybe even join us at the Field Filler Fairgrounds for some of the karting over there. What would a $1,000 payday, or for that matter, even a second or third $200 or $150 payday mean to you if you're able to hold on to finish there in the top 3?
Oh, that definitely helped me out in terms of like getting the funds together to do some real life racing. I've been looking at a few items I need to purchase still, like suit, maybe a Hansa, stuff like that. So it'll definitely help me out in terms of getting to that point.
Now, I know every driver likes to size up their competition, Byron, and I know you've got your eyes on people out there that you've been running against in prelims and probably in some open practice sessions so far this week. I know you don't want to be falling from the top of the chart, but who are the bullets you think you're going to have to dodge to stay there?
I think a lot of the guys who run the DWC, the Pro Series, those are the guys that are going to be able to beat that lap for sure. That was not a good lap, I don't think, to stay up there too long. Steve Sheehan especially, Tom Hazard, Josh Berry, Brad Wright, Joey Brown might put up a good lap too. But a lot of the guys who've done the Pro Series in DWC will definitely be ones to look out for.
Well, Byron, best of luck and enjoy the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge and the next 30 drivers here on the Web Racing Network.
Thank you.
That is Byron Daly. And while he goes back, gets a cool drink of water, and calms down the heart rate, we're going to take a quick break here on the Web Racing Network. And we're going to take a quick look at the top 10 as we throw you to break for you to get a chance to get a drink and calm your nerves for that matter. Byron Daly, the only car to improve on his preliminary time, right now, top of the board. Don't touch that mouse. We will be right back. And welcome back to WRN's live exclusive coverage of the inaugural Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. And holy cow, do we need that break to get ourselves acquainted. And one thing we came across under the break there as well, Dan, was some people not familiar with iRacing asking why exactly, as of course Dan Lyon joined with me as well as Tim Terry from our Canuck friend from Canada. But Dan, a lot of people are asking, these guys are smoking the tires getting into the corner. Explain that to some of our iRacing rookies and kind of people that aren't familiar with the iRacing platform as to why they're seeing tire smoke and the car still getting speed going straight.
Tony, put my mechanical skills on the line here. Usually this is a job for you, but basically what the computer simulation iRacing is doing is over-exaggerating the slip angle a little bit and producing smoke when they added smoke here after the first couple of seasons so people could see the wrecks that they were going through. So basically all the cars are slipping, even the Cup cars do slip, but this does exaggerate it just a little bit more than real life does. So that's why you're seeing smoke and the cars are still running fast.
And the next car, speaking of cars going fast, is Greg Spears, a very colorful car to say the least, as he rolls down pit road, and he will be the first car out in our second quarter. We're pretty much splitting everything up into groups of 10 here tonight. It's pretty much kind of like the old Busch Clash or now the Bud Shootout, the made-for-TV only event that is the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. Car number 11, well, 11th car, I should say, car number 30, the CarQuest Chevrolet Tim of Greg Spears, is on his warm-up lap.
And he's working down the back straightaway right now, Tony, the second of 3 Texans to take the racetrack from Keller, Texas, looking smooth around 3 and 4 as he will come up the racetrack, and he'll take the green flag this time by the 11th driver, now on the clock, looking to pocket some dough in the Landon Cassill Challenge.
Yeah, Greg Spears from Keller, Texas, 40 years old, just had a birthday this week. What a better way to celebrate it than to get that $1,000 cash prize. He did drift a little bit high out of turn numbers 2 and was kind of slow going into 3, so it doesn't look like this is going to be a good lap, but he's going to pedal it through, drift up the track again out of turn number 4, and he's going to come down for the checkered flag, and his lap will be... I'm not seeing it, Tony. Are you seeing it? Do we have a problem with scoring here?
I do not see his lap at all. So
wow.
We will have to see exactly what happened there, Dan. The lap not registering. So possibly an issue with getting into the fence or something. We'll have to get a check on that and see exactly what the case is for Greg Spears, the driver from Texas. Next car on the speedway, car number 24, Daryl McKee, one of the guys from the West Coast, San Diego, California. He's kind of familiar with this whole roundy round pavement thing, Tim. He's been running West Coast style late models for about 4 years or so. But story of most racers, the bank account couldn't sustain the race car for very long.
Indeed, you're right. Looking for a little more funding, and of course, if he wins the $1,000 here tonight, that would be a little more funding to get back going with the real racing. Of course, Short Track Pro Cup supporting this event here this evening, and Daryl runs in the Short Track Pro Cup, so he's looking to fly the STPC colors up at the front of the field. The Menards Chevrolet rounding 3 and 4. He'll come up at a corner number 4 to take the green flag this time by. The money lap is now for Daryl McKee.
As McKee round turns 1 and 2, report Dan on the Greg Spears machine. Black flag for speeding on pit road coming to the line at the end of the pit lane to begin his qualifying attempt. Still under review as to whether he will be permitted a second attempt or not. As McKee works off turn number 4, his lap will go in the books, and McKee cannot do it. 28.581 for Daryl McKee. That's over a tenth of a second slower than his preliminary time, Dan. McKee will clock in 6th out of the 11 cars so far that have taken time. Once again, possibly the nerves playing into a little bit of the outcome here this evening.
Yeah, I think so, Tony, and that definitely is a bummer for that guy speeding on pit road, Greg Spears. We're waiting to hear if they're going to let him run again or not. We will see. Next driver that's going to be up on the track is Matt Whitten, car number 36. Matt is from Rockbridge County, Virginia. He just started iRacing this year. He finished 2nd in the B-Class Series points last season. He's 25 years old, and he's going to try to put it on the pole for the $1,000 here, and we'll see. Notice him getting right out on the track. Definitely not speeding down to pit road to get to the marker there, and he's going to haul it through turns 3 and 4 up on that high line, trying to gain some momentum, and we will see what he can do out of turn number 4. Looks really good so far, Tony. One of the fastest we've seen on the warm-up lap, coming down, gets the green flag. That is the fastest warm-up lap we have seen so far, so maybe he can make something happen here. We will find out. Tim, I know you've seen this guy and see him smoking the tires again through 1 and 2. Looking at the roof cam, looked pretty good through 1 and 2 there, Tim.
Not too bad. He needs to pick up 2/100ths of a second to top Byron Daly's lap. That's compared to what he pulled in the prelims. He's wheeling that car around corners number 3 and 4. I don't think this is going to be anywhere near fast, but he's going to come across the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be 11th fastest, 28.789. And I tell you what, Tony, he was wheeling that car around the corner, and he nearly lost it at a 4.
Hell of a save by Matt Whitten just to get that car to come across the line, even if it is 11th out of the 12 drivers so far to take time. And Byron Daly has got to be shaking his shoes. He didn't think it would stand up, and it very well may not, but we'll find out. There's a lot of very, very fast drivers that have had issues, be it a slip, be it nerves, be it a black flag on the approach to the exit of pit road. Whatever the case may be, as Alan Cryer rolls onto the racetrack, the driver from Albany, Georgia. They got a little quarter-mile racetrack down in Georgia, the Albany Motor Speedway. This place, nothing like that. Cryer, a Verdane Xlander Pro Series champion, also the Super Speedway Series champion over at Verdane. He's been racing for about the past 3 years. And now, much like these other 40 drivers, as he, of course, wants to give a big shout-out to his sponsor, Paul Strickland Jr., here tonight. We want to make sure we got that on the broadcast for him. But Cryer on the way, Tim, to possibly the biggest payday of his iRacing career, hits the apron in turn 1, and that's going to kill his momentum down the back straightaway.
And he nearly clipped the wall down the back straightaway coming out of corner number 2. He's going to enter corner number 3 and 4 and see what he can salvage out of this lap. Alan Cryer, one of the drivers involved in the GS Racing chase for the championship, you'll see Monday night here on WRN. Checkered flag for Alan Cryer, 28.695. That puts Alan Cryer in position number 10, and I'm sure that's not what the Xlander team wanted, Dan.
Yeah, definitely didn't want that. We were joking with him earlier. We always call him Matilda on here because he likes to just walk around people. But he definitely screwed that lap up a little bit. He was doomed from the start here, getting up to speed. His up-to-speed lap was very, very, very slow. So tough break for Alan Cryer. Next car on the track will be Brian Blackford from Seminole, Florida. His prelim time was a 28.429, so we're going to see what he can do. And when all the drivers were asked, us as broadcasters, we like to get information about all the drivers. We asked for some information about Brian Blackford, and he said, sup. So, sup, Brian. Let's see what you can do out here tonight, buddy.
Calm, cool, and collected is Brian Blackford. Most of this game, and I don't mean game as in iRacing, I mean the game of racing, is all mental. 90% of it is in your head. If you're calm, you're relaxed, you make deliberate decisions, deliberate movements on the racetrack, you're very repeatable, very consistent. Blackford trying to do just that. In the triad, long car number 34, Chevrolet off turn 4. Down the front straightaway, green flag is in the air for Blackford, the Florida driver. Off into turn number 1, uses every bit of the racetrack. On the entrance to that end of the speedway, slides up and nearly catches the wall in turn number 2. May have had to crack the throttle attempt into turn number 3. Let's see if Blackford can get after it in this end of the speedway.
If he can back up his preliminary time, he will be at the top of the board. Looking smooth at a 3 and 4. This could be the time that puts him P1. What's he got? Not going to be. Number 9 on the grid. It's going to be a 28.682. And that's going to put him just about mid-pack, Dan. 9th place of the 14 drivers so far. And I think the pressure's starting to get to some of these big guys.
Yeah, mowing the grass in the quad over there for Brian Blackford, running it back to the pits. Very hot. He is not happy right now. He's got the tried lawn care on the car, and he's driving down pit road now back to his stall at about $120, so not happy for Brian Blackford. Next car on the track is going to be Chris Henyon. Chris Henyon from Daytona Beach, Florida. He's been racing since he was 11 years old. He started in quarter midgets. We're waiting for him to roll onto the track right now. I'm not seeing him on the grid, but he's been racing quarter midgets for a long time, raced wing split, sprints, online racing, and he considers himself a tinkerer engineer. Actually, we're going to move up and we're going to go, what are we doing, Tony? Are we going with Heinrich Carlson instead, the 21?
I think so, Dan. It appears that possibly Chris Henyon may have been put on the 30-second clock, and we'll figure out what's happening there in just a matter of moments. We've got a second of downtime. Want to remind you can purchase this event or any WRN event that is broadcast live here on our airwaves for just $12 plus $2.99 shipping and handling. You see the little DVD tab on your player? Guess what? Click that. It'll take you to the DVD listing and everything you need to know in order to purchase DVDs here from the Web Racing Network, as it looks like Chris Henyon is going to be lined up, ready to go. Car number 9 was a little late getting to the car and just about lost his privilege to qualify. So Chris Henyon finally able to get on the racetrack. Henyon, as we said, out of Daytona Beach, Florida, and it's been around for quite a while. He now looking to make money on the racetrack here at Charlotte, coming through turns 3 and 4 on the warm up. I'll get it straight here. Warm up to speed lap. There we go. We'll get it straight. Off turn number 4, Tim Terry right down to the white line across start finish. Again, nearly clipping the grass. He's second of the 2 dog legs. Into turn number 1, Henyon drives it deep, sticks the left front right on the white line.
Beautiful 1 and 2 for the number 9 of Chris Henyon. Another Xlander Designs Chevrolet Impala. I'm sure Paul Strickland is up on the edge of his seat. Oh, he's going to slide it in 3 and 4, wheeling the race car into corner number 4 to the line this time. What's he got? Can he go to the top of the board with that lap? 5.29, going to put him in 4th place.
What a slide for Chris Henyon. Lost about 5 or 6 miles an hour according to our ticker here in turns 3 and 4. And Dan, that arguably was enough to cost him a shot at $1,000. That could have been the best lap we've seen all night, at least through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, until he hit turns 3 and 4, and then the yaw kicked in, and the rear end started coming around. But you know what? He still wheeled it like a champ, got up on that wheel, drove it to the finish. One of the best laps we've seen in a while, even while he was dirt tracking the car out of turn 4. Next up, we finally got it straight here, Tony. Next up will be Heinrich Carlson. He's out of Stockholm, Sweden. Don't know much about this driver, but he is one of our 3 international drivers here tonight. And we're going to see what he can do as he comes out onto the racetrack. His prelim time was a 28.415, so getting ever closer to those 3s here. and we're going to see what he can do. I think this is going to be our new pole lap right here.
We'll find out, Dan. Surprisingly, Byron Daly's lap has withstood the test of time. Everybody else has slowed down from their prelim lap, as Carlson in the FedEx Ground Chevrolet, he's going to hope he's got FedEx speed under the hood of that machine, carrying a lot of speed off turn 4, nearly 200 miles an hour into turn 1, but he missed the mark, about a half car length off the white line in the south end of the speedway. He'll roll off turn number 2, down across the crossover, the bumps, down the back straightaway into turn number 3, drives the car in deep, getting that car to rotate best he can through the humpy bumps off of turn number 4. Henrik Karlsson out of Sweden, lap in the books, will not do it. Second quick, Tim Terry, for Henrik Karlsson. 28.491 seconds for the Swede. Still, right now, a very, very respectable lap.
Indeed it is, Tony. That lap won't get him the $1,000 to win this event. It'll probably get him inside that top 20 to get him a little bit of cash, but it won't be what Henrik Karlsson wanted, and it looks like we're moving on the grid here, Dan, as these guys are starting to move up and trying to position themselves to get a chance at some money, whether it be the $1,000, which is currently held by Byron Daly, or somewhere in the top 20 to get themselves a good lap.
Yeah, next up on the track will be Jason Moschkow. He is from Gilbert, Arizona, so we got a couple of West Coast drivers here tonight. And you know what? It's a little warmer over there than we are here today, as it did snow earlier in Concord, North Carolina. But we are clean and green here tonight, and we're going to see what this driver can do. His prelim time, 28.4000. So we're going to see if he can crack the 4s, maybe get into the 3s for the first time tonight, or maybe just, even if he can run exactly what he did before in his prelim time, he will be on the provisional pole here tonight after, say, 14, 15 drivers have gone. Tony, it looks good so far out of turn number 4. Coming to the line, he's going to cross it at 193. That is the fastest we've seen here tonight, and once again, almost hitting 200. A lot of drivers flirting with that 199, 200. Does drive up the track a little bit, gets sideways, almost clips the wall, Tony. Almost clips it. Looks like we're going to try to see if he can do a little bit better in 3 here.
Still carried a lot of speed down the back straightaway, but he may have lost it over in turn 2, trying to carry too much through the center. He does the same in turns 3 and 4. At the line, what does the laser read? It reads 28.538 seconds, 1/10 of a second slower than he needs to be in order to sit currently on the pole and the top of the scoring pylon for Jason Moschkow out of Arizona. Once again, somebody trying too hard, Tim Terry. Landon Cassill told these guys in the driver's meeting, he said, guys, look, this setup will punish you if you overdrive it. Back your corner up, let the car roll, and get back in the gas early and power off the corner. It seems like the old race driver adage, all right, drive it in there just a little bit harder, is coming to fruition tonight, and it's costing a lot of guys.
Indeed it is, Tony, as we look for the number 16 to roll off pit road, and it looks like Michael Conti will roll onto the racetrack and take his time. That is the Wes Patterson, New Jersey driver, one of the youngest drivers in the field, Dan, 13 years of age. He's been sim racing since he was 5 on the NASCAR Racing 2003 simulation and came to iRacing in 2009, and his prelim time would be good enough if he can turn a 3 to get to the top of the board.
We're going to see what the young driver can do here. His prelim time, like you said, 28.397. And he is trying hard, trying not to overdrive that car. Really, really slow coming to the line, but we're going to see if he can get it now on turns 1 and 2. Just drives it in there. See him throwing the rear end of the car out, smoking the tire. But you know what? He's overdriving it, but he's right on the bottom of the track. So we're going to see how this can work out. He's carrying a whole lot of speed, and he does hit 198 into turn 3. Fastest we've seen all night into turn 3, right down on the bottom line, coming out of turn number 4. Doesn't smoke it, doesn't push it. And here he comes. Hold on to it, buddy, as we hit the line. 449, second spot, Tony. Second spot from Michael Conti.
12 1,000ths of a second. The difference between Michael Conti and Byron Daly. Holy cow. 12 1,000ths of a second can mean the difference between $200 and 1,000 smackaroos. But well of a job for Michael Conti wheeling that race car, Dan, around the racetrack. Right now, sitting second quick so far, as we have 2 more drivers left in this segment of the broadcast, Robert Hall, actually the last driver in this segment of the broadcast, as we wait for him to make his qualifying attempt, and he is rolling into turn number 1 up on the banking. The Adidas Chevrolet, Tim Terry, the black number 43, looking for a little bit of help here at the 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway.
He hustles that car down the back straightaway, 25 years of age. He does a little kart racing locally in Hampton, Georgia, and he races in the Oval DWC here on iRacing, and he's looking to pocket a little bit of cash here this evening at Charlotte. Green flag is out, and the 43 will look to put himself in a great position after this lap. He hustles through 1 and 2.
Oh, man, Tony. You see that? Almost lost it out of turn. We're in car right now with him. Almost lost it in 1 and 2. Extreme sideways dirt track in action going on for the number 43 right now, and that probably spooked him just a little bit. No, it doesn't. He's still going at it. Look at him burning that right rear off out of turn 4. He's going to cut. He had the fastest warm-up lap, by the way, to 51.8, and he's going to turn a 28.669, which is going to put him 12th overall and end the segment here for these drivers.
And Dan, I'm telling you, you've got to, we've talked about it a minute ago, it's that classic race driver. Okay, I screwed up. I can make it up. I can make it up. And by doing that, you just slow yourself down. But it's entertaining to watch, knowing that this is the biggest purse ever paid, ever, for one single lap on iRacing. We're going to take a quick break here. Take a look at the top 10 as we'll put it up on your screen. So far, the top of the speed chart, it has not changed. He's holding on. Byron Daly biting the nails of UNC Charlotte. If he went to WVU, I would say the couches might be burning in Morgantown. I don't think they burn couches in Charlotte, but they might, as cold as it's been. We'll find out. Daly sits on top. Michael Conti second. Heinrich Karlsson from Sweden is third. Keith Welch still sitting in fourth. John Costa fifth. Chris Hinion, Jason Moshkow, Harrison Wiles, Jeremy Thornton, and Darryl McKee round out the top 10. Don't go away here on the Web Racing Network. We'll be right back with the preliminary qualifiers 1 through 20, the 20 fastest guys in the prelims. Can they knock Byron Daly off? We'll find out in just a matter of moments. I'm your host here tonight, once again, Tony Stevens, joined alongside my Canadian friend Tim Terry and the Pennsylvania native Dan Lyon. And guys, 20 cars down, 20 cars to go. Tim, look at the top 10 again. There are some surprises up there, most notably Byron Daly's lap still standing on top of the board.
And you look at one of the youngest drivers, Michael Conti, 13 years of age. He runs in second place so far, and he'll be looking to pick up some cash at the end of this one. But we have some very strong competition coming up, and it's going to start with our next car. Dan, Thomas Lewandowski is no stranger to this sim racing thing.
Definitely not. Thomas Lewandowski from New York. And that last name, you got to know it's from New York, and expecting a lot of snow up there. So hopefully he's got the snow plow off of his car, and he will be ready to go. Thomas Lewandowski in the number 14. His prelim time was a 28.391, and all he's got to do, Tony, is back that time up. But we've seen basically every driver except for 3 have not been able to back up their preliminary time.
That's exactly right, Dan. And as Lewandowski takes the track for his up-to-speed lap, I want to remind you once again, DVDs of this race are available. Just $12 plus $2.99 shipping and handling. Click the DVD tab on your player window and get your copy for the big screen to show everybody at Christmas. Have something exciting to watch besides A Christmas Story. Sorry, I know your tongue's going to stick to the pole, and I know you're going to shoot your eye out. I don't care. Thomas Lewandowski does, though, off of turn number 4 to get the green handkerchief. He is on the clock into turn number 1. Tim, can Lewandowski unseat Byron Daly as the man on top of the board?
I tell you what, he's wheeling that race car in 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway he goes. Lewandowski looking to back up his prelim time to put himself at the top of the board as he goes down 3 and 4 out of 4 coming to the checkered flag now. What's it going to be for the number 14 of Lewandowski? His time is a 4.33.
Oh!
That's going to put him at the top of the board.
New pole sitter.
4/1000ths of a second. And Dan, I thought for sure in turn 4, the way that car slid, he might have lost it all right there.
Yeah, fastest driver into turn 1, fastest driver into turn 3, almost pushing 200 miles an hour getting into turn 3. And you know what? I knew it, and I'm going to say it right now, Thomas Lewandowski, he's not going to be the pole sitter tonight because we got a couple of heavy hitters. Josh Berry, J-Lo's coming up. No, not the singer J-Lo with the big booty, but, whatever. So we'll see those guys later on. But Kevin Buhalasa, I have never been able to say that name ever. It's an awesome name. I don't know how to say it, so Kevin B is on the track right now. His preliminary time was 28.317. He's from Montreal, Quebec. So we're going to let Tim Terry call this one. Tim?
As the driver from Montreal rounds corner number 2 on his warm-up lap. He was born in Paris, France, and moved to Canada when he was 7, currently 19 years of age, and he's looking to pick up some American cash, looking to pick up some of the U.S. dollars. Green flag is
Tim,
out.
What does that translate to in Canadian dollars, for that matter?
The exchange is about even right now, maybe a little bit more. So it'd be 1,000 and change if Kevin can pick up a fast time here. And it's about $35 a second or a little bit more if you put it out through seconds. 28 point something is what he's going to turn. And it's looking mighty smooth right now. Boys, little slide at a 4. What's he going to get? The number 28 across the time. And it's going to be a 4.64. It's going to put him in the top 5, Tony, but I'm sure that's not what he wanted.
4th quick for Kevin Buhalasa. And again, I'm sorry, Kevin, if we butcher your last name. We do sincerely apologize, except for maybe Tim Terry, being that he's from Canada and all. He should kind of know how to pronounce those names. As Jason Anderson gets ready to pull onto the racetrack. And phenomenal figure you put out there, Tim. 28-second lap and change is going to take the pole here. Obviously, we're already in the 28-second bracket. $35 a second. Digest that for a little bit. $35 a second. How much could you, Dan, I can't think of any profession except maybe, nothing that makes $35 a second except for iRacer.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, Tony. And one interesting thing we saw with Jason Anderson here was coming down pit road, he was pegging the throttle, trying to burn all the fuel that he could in that little 200-yard distance to get the green flag to come around. So we're going to see, maybe that's a little trick these guys are trying to work out tonight. But Jason Anderson, known for his super speedway racing, especially back in open speedway, where you can't pass below the yellow line or go 3 wide on lap 1, that place. This is Jason Anderson from there. He's very fast. You have to lift here, though. Some guys might not want to, but we're going to see what he can do coming down the back straightaway into turn number 3. 197 miles per hour. Not as fast as Thomas Lewandowski, but looks great. Right down on the bottom, not sliding up, not drifting the car out of turn 4. And here he comes down for the checkered flag. Jason Anderson in the number 29 is going to turn a lap of 28.495. It's going to put him in the 6th spot, Tony.
6th quick out of the 23 cars actually to take time. One of those not registering after he got a black flag, and that certainly is a bummer to say the least. Next car going to be on the speedway is Brian Schoenberg, and he piloting the number 8 machine, waiting at the end of the pit lane. Schoenberg, another one of the West Coasters here out of Moore Park, California. Again, a lot of guys unable to back up their prelim time. Schoenberg's prelim time, 28.362 seconds. And oddly enough, this is the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge, Tim. And even though Schoenberg's been on iRacing since 2002, he was 11th in the iRacing Drivers' World Championship oval points this season. If you met him on the street, you'd almost mistake him for Landon Cassill.
Indeed, you're right, Tony. I'm not sure if Matt in the booth has one of those lookalikes where he has a picture of Schoenberg and a picture of Cassill, but I'm sure if you put them together, they look strikingly similar. The number 8 is Schoenberg now on the racetrack. He's rounding 3 and 4, coming to the green flag this time by, and this is the time where we start bumping drivers out of the top 20. So Matt Whitten, Casey Malone right now, they're out of the money. Chris Templin is on the bubble to get a little bit of cash here from the Landon Cassill Challenge, and number 8 on his hot lap.
He did hit 200 miles per hour into turn 1, Tony, as we've been talking about earlier. Sorry to interrupt you there, but he is the fastest guy on the track right now, and we're going to see what he can do. 198. This might be a pole lap. Look at him cooking the tires, getting up on the wheeling the car out of turn number 4. We're going to see what he can do. Coming down to the checkered flag. New pole sitter. First 3, 28.378 for Brian Schoenberg.
That is just 16 one-thousandths of a second off of his prelim time. So Schoenberg backing it up. Cha-ching, the cash registers are going off in California, and Schoenberg forgets where he is at. Excited. He realizes what a lap he just made, the former DMP driver, off of the racetrack in turn number 4. So Schoenberg now locks himself into the money of some sort. Next car on the racetrack, Josh Jones out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And oddly enough, he's an airplane mechanic, guys. 31 years old. They lived in the Charlotte, North Carolina area for a year, and he absolutely misses being in the home of stock car racing. His entire family, though, a rich racing background. The Jones family raced in the Nashville Fairgrounds, and for that matter, please, if you're anywhere around Nashville, check out the Facebook page to Save the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. I know Sterling Marlin, Darrell Waltrip, a number of others are trying their damnedest to save that racetrack. It is a fine facility with a lot of history, a very useful, multi-purpose facility. Please do your best to try to help that group out any way you possibly can so the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway does not go the way of so many other sacred, fabled, and historic short tracks. Jones, though, trying to use that Fairgrounds Speedway knowledge to his advantage through turns 3 and 4. Off of turn 4, not able to use the entire racetrack, however. Across start-finish, Jones cannot get it done. It will put him 6th out of the 25 drivers who have made an attempt so far. 28.471 seconds for the driver out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Tim.
And as we get ready to roll the number 11 car on the racetrack, Dan, that's another one of the X-Lander Design Solutions Chevrolet Impalas for John Adams, and I'm sure Paul Strickland Jr. is now on the edge of his seat.
Yeah, John Adams, he is currently running right now, like you said, in the X-Lander Pro Series. He's got that on the card today. Also running in the Pro Series, hoping to make the DWC this year. And John Adams, especially known for the iRacing bombs. Boom! Let's hope he doesn't put one in the wall here tonight, so we're going to see what he can do. Haven't seen a car wreck here tonight. If you want to check him out, go on YouTube, watch all of his videos. They're amazing. And hopefully he doesn't have a little highlight reel to make one here tonight unless he's on the pole. We haven't seen a car put it in the fence tonight, but got to love John Adams. He's a great guy. And you know what? If he does wreck it, he's going to wreck it big. So all the fans just better back up because he's going for it all right now, Tony, at a turn number 4. Looking very good, coming up to speed. Actually not looking so good, but we'll see. Actually, okay, I lied again. 199, almost 200 in turn 1. Oh, we're going to see what happens here. Down there, pushing up just a little bit, not right on the white line where everyone else has been. Oh, he's sideways, look at him. Oh, man, keeps it off the wall. Get it back on the track, John, come on. Oh, man, he's going to be so mad about that. Look at that. And the bomb has struck, and he's going to finish this lap at a turn number 4. And John Adams in the number 11 going to come down. And you know what? I bet you he's still not going to be last on the field. 29.238. Definitely last on the field, but still a respectable lap for, going swimming on the backstretch.
Yeah, he just about bought the farm back there. I thought he did, Dan. That car, very, very difficult to save. Off the banking of turn number 2 whenever it gets that sideways. So, hell of a job by John Adams just to hang on to that race car.
I jinxed him,
off
I
of
knew
turn number 2, and the Dan Lyon jinx is present once again. Another guy calling this his home track now, Josh Berry. Also originally from the Nashville, Tennessee area, ran Legends cars there on the quarter mile at the Fairgrounds Speedway. Guess what? Now working and driving for JR Motorsports, Dale Jr. in their late model up at the Motor Mile Speedway in Radford, Virginia, about a 3.5-hour drive here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Probably the most competitive short track in all of America. Was 5th in the inaugural NASCAR iRacing Drivers World Championship. Took home 2 wins and is currently the iRacing Pro Series points leader with 12 wins in 20 starts. But tonight is not about wins for the number 33. It is about going fast for 28 seconds, 1 lap around his now new home track of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Josh Berry on the clock into turn number 1. Gets the car down right next to the white line, carries a ton of speed according to our ticker through the center of the corner, Tim, down the back straightaway, barreling into turn number 3.
If he can back up his prelim time, he will be at the top of the board. Looking smooth so far through 3 and 4. Little bit of a slide through corner number 3. We'll see what he can do. He nailed 3 and 4. Is this a pole lap? Oh,
no!
Boy, second.
Almost.
28.387. That's going to put him P2 so far. Just a little bit off.
9 1,000ths. Yeah, 9 1,000ths, the man, the myth, the legend, Josh Berry. Everyone wants to know his I rating. It is over 9,000. And 8 1,000ths, off the pole. Next up will be Joey Brown in the number 6. Joey Brown driving for Wheelmen Incorporated. Him and his dad, Dave, love to race this track. Love to race this track, Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we're going to see what he can do. Joey Brown's prelim qualifying lap was a 28.319. He is from Houston, Texas. He is a U.S. Navy air traffic controller, and he served in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Joey, we appreciate everything that you and your dad have done for us in the U.S. Navy and as an ATC out of Houston. So, anyway, he is on the track right now. Joey Brown in the number 6. He is a pro driver, Tony, with that black bumper.
Certainly is, and he is going to try to put every bit of experience down on the pavement here this evening in that Navy Chevrolet through turns 3 and 4. This, the north end of the Speedway at Charlotte off of turn 4. Now across the stripe, Tim Terry. Joey Brown is on the clock for his attempt at the money lap.
This will be the 3rd and final Texan on the racetrack as he comes out of corner number 2, hits the safer barrier, and that's pretty much going to kill his time. Down the back straightaway he goes. He might be able to eclipse John Adams' lap, though, as he rounds 3 and 4, looking to salvage a little bit out of this final lap. What's he going to get from number 6 out of corner number 4 across the stripe? We'll see if he can get a top 20 lap and maybe put himself in position for cash. 28.957. That's going to put him 26th on the grid.
Next up is going to be Tom Hazard. And Tom Hazard is not exactly a local to the Charlotte area, but he's got a lot of ties in the Charlotte area. A lot of people watching the number 42 machine as he rolls down the pit lane towards the stop-and-go Lollipop Man. And Tom has won on WRN, formerly OLR TV, with the DMP Pro Series, the DMP Sportsman Series. And here he is once again on WRN trying to take home 1,000 smackaroos. Nerves, raging, heartbeat, pounding, waiting for the go sign from the official. And there it is, Dan Lyon. Tom Hazard to the racetrack for his shot at $1,000.
Yeah, Thomas Hazard, extremely good racer here at anywhere, really, back from the NASCAR 2003 days into the iRacing days here. Loves the 1.5-mile cookie-cutter D-shaped oval, so he is going to be very tough to beat here tonight as we are getting down to the cream of the crop. Thomas Hazard with a 28.316 in his preliminary time. Lap looks absolutely fantastic right now as he comes down to take the green flag. 1 lap, 28 seconds around. Didn't have a really good up-to-speed lap, but this lap, we're going to see how he gets through 1 and 2 here, right on the white line, smoking the tires ever so slightly. Extreme amount of speed for Thomas Hazard. I do say we might have a new pole sitter, Brian Schoenberg, walk out. The D-bell is about ready to ring here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as Thomas Hazard smoking the tires. Oh, he had to lift. He pushed up very hard into turn 4. That's going to be a tough luck right there for Thomas Hazard. Don't think he's going to be able to make it. 28.446. P5.
Very, very close to having a shot at the top of the board. Again, Hazard, a slide in turns 3 and 4. It's been the story of the night. One slip coming to the flag with an otherwise fantastic lap, and Tom Hazard has got to be kicking himself after that in turns number 3 and 4. One final driver in this segment of the broadcast. 29 drivers have taken time, and Tim Terry, Galen Weinstedt out of Martinsville, Virginia, is going to be the 30th driver to make a qualifying attempt here this evening. And of all places, out of Martinsville, Virginia, they know how to do the half-mile thing here. What's a guy from there doing a mile and a half?
I tell you what, Tony, he's out here on the big track this evening. He enjoys racing against tough competition. I tell you what, he's got a lot of the tough competition here. He's going to get ready to take the green flag, Dan, and we're talking about guys being bumped out of the money already. Blackfoot, Hightower, Cryer, they're already outside the top 20 as the 23 takes the green.
Yeah, we're going to see what he can do right here. He scrubs the wall. I don't know. iRacing has a rule where if you do hit the wall or get an incident point, it's going to, okay, and he goes up. Oh, extreme push out of turn number 1. Sorry, we are running in a practice session, so my bad, iRacing, my bad. Anyway, down into turn 3. Doesn't look like it's going to be a good lap, and Tony, he is pushing it way too hard. Look at him dig, knock down the wall, moving out about 50 feet. Galen's coming through. Checkered flag's down. 28.5. Still a decent, respectable lap for running the high line here at Charlotte.
Not only the high line, Dan, but getting into the wall, sliding the tires, doing everything you're not supposed to do in a qualifying lap. Galen Weinstedt just absolutely, again, another driver going to be going back to the trailer and saying, why in the hell did I do X, Y, or Z? I should have done A, B, or C. Guess what,
this
boys?
isn't Daytona.
One shot. That's all you get. It's the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge for a reason. Why? Landon does this every single week, trying to get himself into the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race, and he does it without fail, without cracking a sweat. Okay, he does crack a sweat, but without cracking under the pressure. Every single driver here tonight feeling just what it's like to be Landon Cassill and to have that kind of pressure on you. The top 10 has changed since the last time we went to break. Brian Schoenberg, car number 8, currently top of the board at 28.378 seconds. Josh Berry just behind him in second. Thomas Lewandowski in third. Byron Daly's lap he did not think would hold up, still in the top 5 and fourth. And Thomas Hazard, even after the big slip on his lap, is 5th. 13-year-old Michael Conti is 6th. Kevin Bulahasa is 7th. Josh Jones 8th. Henrik Karlsson from Sweden still in the 9th spot. And Jason Anderson rounding out the current top 10 at the 28.495 second lap. Do not touch that mouse. You've got about 60 seconds. Go get the beer, go get the wings, go get the Coke, whatever you need. The top 10 preliminary fastest qualifiers are up next. Will they take home the cash? Find out live on WRN in just a matter of minutes.
The next generation of racing is here. Hello, I'm Lee Diffie from Speed, and welcome to iRacing.com, an innovative PC-based simulation service that allows you to climb into a virtual race car and compete head-to-head against thousands of other racers, starting with rookies to top-level pros from all over the world. At the core of the iRacing service is the most accurate and sophisticated racing simulation software ever created, and it's so good that professional racers swear by it as a training tool. Drivers like Dale Earnhardt Jr., Justin Wilson, AJ Allmendinger, and Alex Gurney, and many of them compete frequently in iRacing's online race series. But iRacing isn't just a training tool for the professionals. It's the basis of a new branch of motorsport, making the fun and excitement of real-time, professionally sanctioned racing available to everyone. iRacing offers unlimited seat time for a lot less money than you spend each month on your phone bill. And you don't need high-tech equipment or a computer engineering degree to get started. All you need is a reasonably current personal computer, a PC-compatible wheel and pedal set that you can buy online or at your local electronics store for less than $100. And finally, a broadband internet connection. iRacing's easy-to-use web-based service includes a quick start guide that makes it simple to download the software and start racing. Once you're in, you're away. iRacing has a wide variety of cars and tracks available, all modelled to the finest detail. Every major North American track and a diverse selection of oval and road racing machines. And new ones are being added all the time. Whether you're a pro wanting to tune up for your next event, an amateur attempting to learn a new track, or someone who dreams of enjoying the thrills of high-speed competition, iRacing offers everything from practice to arrive and drive racing to World Championship competition. Check out iRacing.com to see how easy it is to get started. The next generation of racing is here.
And welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina for the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Short Track Pro Cup, the STPC, and iRacing.com. You just saw the iRacing promo video with Lee Diffie from Speed TV. And guess what? iRacing this month, just for you, if you've never been an iRacing subscriber before, we're not going to give you 2 for the price of 1. They're going to give you 3 for the price of 1. Pay for 1 month, get 2 more. That's 3 months for the price of 1 for first-time iRacing.com subscribers. If you have not ever been a member of iRacing, check it out. Get subscribed and figure out what all of the hype is about. I, of course, am your host, Tony Stevens, joined alongside by Tim Terry, Dan Lyon. 30 cars have made a qualifying attempt so far here in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 10 drivers remain. They are the 10 fastest drivers from preliminary runs. But as we have seen so far tonight, preliminary runs don't mean jack. Brian Schoenberg is the guy, however, who's currently on top of the board. And Brian, just like I asked Byron Daly earlier, are you nervous yet?
Boy, I'll tell you what, when I was sitting there on pit road just waiting to go, I could feel my heart a little bit. The big thing was, like, during the breaks, it's like, come on. But no, it's a fun time. I just got to thank JD Layer, JDR Graphics, and all my people on the Ascors TeamSpeak. And also thanks to Landon and you guys for putting on this event. It's really fun. I'll bet you my life savings the lap doesn't hold up. I was just trying to do a conservative lap, after seeing how much slower these times were from yesterday, because it's a lot harder to do in 1 lap instead of having 30. So I was proud of my lap because this whole time I've never had the speed that some of these guys have always had. I've always been a tenth and a half off with this setup for whatever reason. So I'm happy with the lap. I hope it ends up in the top 10. And, it's nice to get a little bit of money, too, a little bit of a profit. It's just how much. If I get in the top 5, I'll have a heart attack. But I'm hoping for 6 to 10, hopefully. And go Jason Loafing. Go.
There you go, Brian. And you never know. We've seen already. Byron Daly thought, I'm done. That lap's not holding up. Guess what? He's still 4th on the board, so anything is possible. Now, here's the question, Brian. You just went out a little bit ago. You haven't had a lot of bullets to dodge. What's worse, sitting on pit road, waiting to make your lap to put that number in on the clock and on the scoreboard, or watching everybody else take their gun and try to shoot you off the top of the pole?
That's funny you ask that. They're both pretty bad, honestly. I would say sitting on pit road's worse, just because it's so easy. This thing is so finicky. It's so easy to miss that corner. It really is. Overdrive it, underdrive it, whatever. It is so easy to do it. So I would say sitting there is a lot worse.
Well, Brian, we're going to let you sit back and enjoy it. But before we do that, I know you said to J-Lo, good luck. And obviously, if you can't win it, you'd like him to do it. But aside from him, who are you picking to maybe be the bullets that you're going to have to dodge? Obviously, these are the 10 fastest guys coming up. Who are the real bullets, though, that you think you're going to have to do a little dancing to get around to stay where you're at?
All of them. But Steve Sheehan, I'll be doing a little bit of a rain dance or something. I don't know. That guy, he can do anything. It's just a matter, they got it horrible. They have to sit here and wait the whole time Oh my.
Yeah, and that's something that I think we've seen possibly coming in. And thanks, Brian. Best of luck to you. We'll let you go back and sit down, watch the broadcast, and cross your fingers. And Tim, Brian touched on it, and we've talked about it the entire broadcast long. Everybody's getting a chance to sit around and watch. The nerves are getting that more frayed. The pressure is pinching these guys down. It's pushing on their shoulders. Do you expect any of these guys to crack and crack large? I mean, we haven't seen anybody really get into the fence hard. I mean, Joey Brown scraped the wall, but do you really anticipate anybody screwing up large and maybe totaling out a race car here?
You look at guys coming up in these next 10 drivers, Ray Alfala, Brad Davies, of course, Steve Sheehan's been fast all week long. There's a lot of guys here that are used to the pressure. Maybe some other guys, maybe not so much used to this big-time pressure. We might see a couple of guys crack. We might see a couple of guys overdrive their race cars. But, Dan, this is where the money gets laid down. These next 10 guys going to decide who ends up walking away with the cash.
Yeah, definitely. Next car up on the track is going to be Richie Davidowitz. He's going to be from Holbrook, New York. So a couple of New York drivers out here tonight, Tony. His lap was the first two in the preliminaries at a 28.299. He's 19 years old. He's been racing go-karts basically all of his life, competed in WKA. A lot of people in here know what that is, the World Karting Association, one of the main things, the main sanctioning bodies for go-karts. And we're going to see if he can make a run at the checkered flag here.
Certainly will. He's looking to move up from the karting world into Legends cars or something comparable probably. And, of course, competing in the NASCAR iRacing.com Drivers World Championship Series, or at least attempting to, I should say. And, of course, the live scoring ticker is up on your screen. Davidowitz on the money lap. And to give you folks at home an idea of just how close these top 10 drivers are, Schoenberg, we mentioned earlier, he was, I think, in the preliminaries, 17th quick with a 28.362. He ran a 3.78. Davidowitz ran a 2.99 in his prelim. The fastest guy, Steve Sheen, was a 2.09. Tim, we're talking thousandths of seconds can make the difference between $1,000 and a couple $100. Into turn 3, here comes Davidowitz, Tim.
Very smooth lap so far for Richie Davidowitz out of corner number 4. This might be the pole lap close to that wall out of corner number 4. What does he have? 28.3.
Money! Pole sitter.
5.3. He'll move to the top of the board.
New pole sitter, provisional pole sitter, the number 19 of Richie Davidowitz. We didn't think he would get it, Tim, coming out of turn 4, where he almost got that wall, but he was digging. The 7 key was definitely engaged in their little iRacing joke going on. But Richie Davidowitz, number 1 on the speed chart right now. Next up is going to be Ray Alfala. Ray is located out of Cape Coral, Florida, and he's a student at Florida Gulf University, and he is a current DWC driver. So we're going to see exactly what he can do. He's been fast in practice all day. Here comes Ray, Tim.
Out of pit road he comes, iLeagueRace.com on board the number 38. He's one of the DWC drivers, and I tell you what, Tony, they know how to put the pressure down. You mentioned earlier, I believe he's headed to the Intel World Finals as well. So Ray's had an incredible 2010 season, but he's looking to add a little bit of cash to the spending money that he can spend when he's at the World Finals.
Certainly is, and of course, yes, that is turning left and turning right. Road course racing. Alfala up there with all the aliens. Right now, going to try to make a couple of rotations around Charlotte, maybe spin around in a spaceship and see if that can increase his time. Through turns 1 and 2 for Ray Alfala, off of the turn 2 banking, shooting down the back straightaway. Alfala, the former DMP Pro Series champion, works into turn number 3, right along the white line, carrying a good bit of speed. The car seems very stable off of turn 4. Did he leave anything on the table? Verdict is yes! 28.419 seconds. 4th quick out of the 32 cars that have taken time so far. Very disappointing run for Ray Alfala, Dan.
Yeah, definitely very disappointed, but he is still in the money. Next car on the track is going to be Brad Davies. Brad Davies finished 2nd in the DWC Pro Series champion behind Richard Towler. It was a battle down to the last race, and he missed it, I believe it was by 17 points. But Brad Davies out of Wauchula, Florida, that is a name right there, and he's doing him proud here tonight. Prelim time was a 28.290, and we're going to see what the Miami Hurricane colored car can do here tonight, Tony.
We certainly will. He drops the loud pedal through the gearbox. Here, be careful not to tear out the transmission. These lightweight gears tend not to like a lot of abuse. The Whiskey River, well, it's not a casino. I almost called it a casino. Sorry. The Whiskey River nightclub and bar on the side of that machine for Brad Davies. Of course, that facility in the epicenter in Uptown, Charlotte, North Carolina, owned by none other than NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. and a few of his business partners. To the green flag, Brad Davies, also a DMP Pro Series championship on his resume, trying to put 1,000 smackaroos in his bank account for Christmas. Not a very pretty turns 1 and 2, Tim. Very ugly, to say the least, as he goes down the back straightaway.
Brad Davies knows pressure. What can he do through 3 and 4? Can he pick up a little bit in the final couple of corners? Sliding that car around here at Charlotte to the checkered flag this time, number 27. Brad Davies, he's going to pick up a time of 28.469. That's going to put him in position number 10. It's going to get him some sort of money, Dan, but not that $1,000.
Definitely not. He missed turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Was trying a little too hard, but you know what? He's still in the money. Brad Wright in the number 32. Brad Wright out of High Point, North Carolina, the 16-year-old son of Steve Wright, who races on here a lot as well. Steve not competing tonight, but in the spectator chat, rooting his son on. Brad, like we said, 16 years old, currently a sophomore in high school and competing in the NASCAR iRacing Pro Oval Championship Series. He's currently 7th overall, and he's looking to transfer into the DWC next year. Brad Wright, now onto the track, Tony.
Into the banking of turn number 1, the unsponsored number 32 machine, looking to put a name on the side of that car. It looks awfully similar to cars that maybe Paul Menard and some others have run in the past, but right off of turn 2 on the up to speed lap into turn number 3. Some guys, such as Alfala, have taken the top line. Right, going to go right around the bottom, the short way around, off of turn number 4. Green handkerchief in the air. The question is, Tim, for Brad Wright, does green mean money?
It might very well. Look at that number 1 and 2 right down there. He's going to drift up the racetrack in corner number 2. Going to slap the wall just a little bit off of corner number 2. Down the back straightaway he goes. Let's see if he can pick it up just a little bit in 3 and 4. You ride on board with the number 32. Out of corner number 4 to the checker flag. Look a little bit better in 3 and 4. It did. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 28.378.
Wow.
That's going to put him up in 3rd.
Wow, up into 3rd spot, even after drifting up and kissing the outside wall. Brad Wright with a 28.378. Damn right, Brad Wright. That's his nickname, and you know what? He told him how to do it here tonight, even with running. Can you imagine if he would have actually made that corner? He would have turned a 1. Oh, man. Awesome run for Brad Wright. Next up on the track, Kelly Ryan. Kelly Ryan in the number 22 car. He's from Phoenix, Arizona. He's raced go-karts and mod lights full-time at a local tracks in Phoenix, basically for 3 years, and he's been splitting his time between R-Factor and iRacing, Tony. So he's looking to get it up there. His prelim qualifying time, 28.248, and we're going to see what he can do.
Certainly will. I think he may have been spending a little bit more time on iRacing with $1,000 on the line. He now will go through the gearbox into the 24-degree banks of turns 1 and 2, the south end of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Kelly Ryan trying to take the cash home to Arizona. Tim Terry up to speed lap for Ryan. The nerves have got to be fraying on the last few drivers, he, of course, being one of them.
Indeed, he is. We have 6 drivers left to go in this session. Going to take the green and white flags this time by. The money lap has begun for the 22 of Kelly Ryan. Looking to better a 3.52 of your current pole sitter. Looking very good in 1. Going to slip up the racetrack in corner number 2. He's going to slap the safer barrier and the wall down the back.
It's like the old song says, hello, walls. But the problem is, you don't want to say hello walls here. Kelly Ryan now doing that classic race driver spiel. I can make it up. I can make it up through turns 3 and 4. This time, though, he will not. 28.621 seconds. 28.621. That will put him 24th out of the driver. You see him drive
puts it in the wall
on the
again.
outside wall in turns 1 and 2. I think maybe Kelly Ryan is a little peeved right now, Dan.
I think he's mad. I think that's the problem. But you know what? He's putting it in the wall, and we're waiting on Jeremy Allen. And no, Jeremy's not. Okay, we're going to go with Theo then. Theo Olson. No, is Jeremy? What? Jeremy's doing donuts in the grass right now. That's against the rules, and yeah, I think that's against the rules. And he is.
Yep.
He has been
gone.
ejected out of the server. Jeremy Allen doing little donuts in the grass, and he is no longer here.
Yep.
So we're
Dan,
going to go with Theo Olson, Tony.
Theo Olson out on the racetrack, and to let everybody know, the rules say you cannot burn out, do anything crazy, go backwards, or otherwise do anything other than pull out onto the racetrack. I think that pretty well violates the rule book for Jeremy Allen. There was a miscommunication. He was out at the same time that Kelly Ryan tried to make his qualifying run, was unable to get, or was actually out a little premature, came out that time, and I'm not sure exactly what happened with Jeremy Allen. Nonetheless, he will not register a time here tonight. Theo Olson, the 4th quickest driver in prelims, is on the racetrack out of Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. The 18-year-old driver who's been sim racing since 2003, currently in the top 15 in the Drivers' World Championship points. He very, very straight off turn number 2. Olson may have a shot, Tim, into turn number 3.
He's using every piece of real estate here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Looked flawless through 1 and 2. Looked same through 3 and 4. To the checkered flag. Is this a pole run for Theo Olson? It's going to be a 28.381.
Oh, he barely
That's
missed
going
it.
to put him in a position number 4, and he's going to blow it up going into 1.
Blew it up.
He
Theo
blew it up.
Olson,
Oh, wow.
man. That, what a, again, Dan, the frustrations are mounting with these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Theo Olson trying to Earnhardt it up to the front and pop the motor after crossing the line. So it was a good run for him, not what he wanted. But Josh Parker, now up on the track. Josh Parker, the number 35. His prelim qualifying time was 28.231. He's from Cranston, Rhode Island, and he's the inaugural iRacing Pro Oval Series champion, and he finished 7th in DWC this year. So Josh Parker definitely knows how to get it done on the track. As he comes out, we have 3 drivers left, including Jason Loffing and Steve Sheehan. So we're going to see what Josh Parker can do on the track, Tony.
One of the X-Lander cars on the racetrack. Paul Strickland Jr. is going to be crossing his fingers here. Of course, Paul Strickland, the sponsor of the Verdane Pro Series, who also makes their home here on the Web Racing Network. Check our future listings for the next X-Lander Pro Series event. Right now, the schedule they have out says they'll be racing in February. Parker across the line, green flag in the air, topping 200 miles an hour into turn number 1. Tim Terry Parker as he now slides the car through turns 1 and 2.
Getting everything he can out of the Chevrolet Impala down the back straightaway. This time through 3 and 4. Do the cash registers ring? This time by. Out of corner number 4. Looking at the checkered flag. What does Josh Parker have? Number 35 comes across with a time of 28.350. Top of the board.
New pole sitter. Wow.
Fast
New pole sitter,
time.
Tony. 28.350 beats out Richie Davidowitz by 2 1/1000ths of a second. That was great, and he was smoking them all through turns
Dan,
1 and 2.
How would you like to be Richie Davidowitz knowing you left something, if in fact you left something on the table, but knowing that maybe you could have found 2 or 3 1/1000ths of a second on your lap?
That's all racing is, Tony. You try your best, and whatever you do, you do. And I bet you Richie went out and gave it 100%, and he's going to come home a little short, but we'll see. Next up, Jason Loffing, J-Lo. This is no Jenny from the block. This is Jason Loffing, and his preliminary qualifying time was a 28.224. He's from Elk Grove, California. He's 21 years old, and he might be cracking a beer tonight if he gets the pole.
Very well might. Again, 2 1/1000ths of a second right now. The difference between first and second. That's an $800. That's probably the most expensive 2 1/1000ths of a second I think I've ever seen in my life, Tim. Now, you may argue things with the Cup Series and whatever, but guess what? They don't get paid to qualify, Tim. We get paid to qualify here in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge as Jason Loffing. Green flag is in the air for his qualifying run.
And Loafing is in the pursuit of performance. The overclock.net Chevrolet, you ride on board with the number 26. Looking good through 1 and 2. Up the racetrack, down the back straightaway he goes. It's looking pretty good so far. Dan, what's he got through 3 and 4?
It looked great going into turn number 3. Fastest time we've seen going in there so far. Turn 3 looks great, drifting up just a little bit. But remember, that's how Richie turned his lap earlier. Here he comes down. And wow, by over a tenth of a second, actually exactly a tenth of a second, Jason Loffing on the pole with a 28.250, 1/10 of a second faster than Josh Parker. Do work, J-Lo, here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But I might add, there is one more person left who almost turned a 1 in prelims, and that is Steve Sheehan. Steve Sheehan, his prelim qualifying time was a 28.209. He is from Schenectady, New York. He's 24 years old. He's been sim racing for more than 10 years, and he likes racing just as much as he likes blondes, but not as much as he likes brunettes. And he's the biggest iRacing fan ever. Props to iRacing. And he's won tons of races and tons of championships. And we're going to see what he can do. Last car on the track. Can he back it up, Tony?
We will find out momentarily. Steve Sheehan must back up his preliminary time. Jason Loafing knows he has got one guy to beat, and that man is on the racetrack in the Whiskey River Chevrolet. Slowly bringing that car up to speed just now, grabbing 4th gear out of turn number 2. Sheehan has been in the 28.2 second bracket this entire afternoon in pre-qualifying practice. Can he do it when the money is on the line, when the pressure is on his shoulders? We will find out momentarily. Across start finish into turn number 1. Did not carry a lot of speed, but he put the left front around the apron. Big bubble for Sheehan.
Oh my
Sheehan slides up the racetrack in turn number 2. A $1,000 slip, Tim Terry, as he works into turns 3 and 4.
Boy, oh boy, Steve
Not over
Sheehan.
yet.
Where is he going to finish here now? It might not be number 1. Checkered flag out for Steve. What's it going to be? It's going to be 28.402.
Oh.
That will slot Steve in position number 8. That's a $50 lap, Dan, compared to a $1,000 lap. J-Lo is the Landon Cassill Challenge champion.
It came down to the second to last qualifying run, and Jason Loffing with a 28.250 beats the field by exactly 1/10 of a second, and he will take home the $1,000 cash prize. Now, remind you, these are still unofficial results. The whole session will be reviewed after the race tonight, but as of right now, unofficially, Jason Loffing is your winner here tonight.
He is, Dan, and what a lap it was, as you mentioned. 1/10 of a second faster than Josh Parker, who went out just before him. Those two were separated by mere thousandths of a second in prelims, 7 1/1000ths of a second to be exact. Parker did not pull the lap that he had in the prelims. In fact, he was over 1/10 of a second slower. Loafing backed it up to within 26 100ths of a second, and it proves to be the difference. Steve Sheehan's nerves apparently getting the best of him. He coming in the 8th quickest of the 40 drivers here this evening, and there you see the top 10 on your broadcast screen. Jason Loafing over Josh Parker, Richie Davidowitz, Brian Schoenberg, the 16-year-old Brad Wright, Theo Olson, Josh Berry, Steve Sheehan, Ray Alfala, and Thomas Lewandowski. Your top 10, Tim.
These drivers here, 11th through 20th, they also pocket a little bit of cash. Byron Daly, Thomas Hazard, Michael Conti, Kevin Boulahas, and Brad Davies. Top 15, they're guaranteed $25. Josh Jones, Henrik Carlson, Jason Anderson, Keith Welch, and John Costa, they're each going to pocket $15 for their efforts, Dan.
Yeah, and these guys 21st on back, missed out on the money. Chris Henyon missed it by 7 1/1000ths of a second. He's 21st. Galen Winsett, he is in 23rd. Jason Maschow, Harrison Weidlich, Jeremy Thornton, Daryl McKee, Anderson Pies in 27th. Kelly Ryan, Robert Hall, and Cody Kutzner in the top 30 there, Tony.
And, of course, the last 10 qualifiers, or non-qualifiers, I guess, in this case. Cody Kutzner, Brian Blackford, Jordan Hightower nearly crashed on his lap. Alan Cryer, Chris Templin, Matt Whitten had problems on his lap coming out of turn number 4. Casey Malone, Joey Brown, and John Adams, those were the last 8 drivers to actually take a time. 2 other drivers were unable to put a time on the board, most notably Jeremy Allen. We saw him here in this segment having issues there on the front straightaway. He was unable to take any sort of time, and he will be scored, I believe, 40th as the DNQ. And I believe that Anderson Pice might have actually been the other car that did not make a lap that registered, or check that, yes, he did. We'll have to get a check and see my entry list, as since they didn't cross the line, I don't have them on the scoring. But your fastest guy here tonight, $1,000 richer, the number 26 machine of Jason Loafing, all the way from Elk Grove, California. Jason, you, my friend, are $1,000 richer. Your Christmas shopping has officially been paid for.
Yeah, man, I mean, thanks for putting this on, and I just tried to go out there and do the same thing I did, all those practice laps I put in, and I want to say thanks to iRacing and all my friends on the Ask Course team speak, and my family. I have a party to go to after this, and I just don't really know what to say. I'm just thrilled. I can't believe it.
Jason, we've talked tonight about pressure. We've talked about the reason that Landon came up with this event was to replicate the same kind of pressure that he faces every week in an actual driving for the rent type of situation. He's got to make the show in order to pay rent, in order to pay his bills and make a living. You just do it for $1,000 of extra bonus cash. But again, walk us through the pressure of rolling out to the grid, going through that qualifying lap in your head, and then making the lap and sitting for 60 seconds waiting for Steve Sheehan to put his lap on the board.
Well, I mean, I just tried to do the same thing I did every lap. I tried to focus and think that this lap is no different than any of the hundreds of laps I did in practice. And it kind of hit me when I was sitting there at the line waiting to go. But as soon as he told me to go, it was just like the same thing. And I just tried to do what I did every single time. And it just so happened that it worked out. I mean, I'd felt the pressure, don't get me wrong, but it just worked out.
Well, you did a fantastic job. And Jason, you're a name that we haven't heard a lot about in the sim racing community, at least on WRN. Tell us a little bit about your racing background, because if you were on somebody's radar screen now, guess what? You just plopped right down in the center of the beacon, my friend.
Well, basically, there is no experience before iRacing. I had various games. I played GTR a little bit, but not real seriously. I had a PlayStation 2 with Gran Turismo 4, but that's about it. I joined this iRacing back in 2009 because I thought it looked cool. I thought, hey, that's something it's clean racing. It's fun racing with real people, professional drivers, really good people, really good competition. And I just joined it, and man, I just went with it. And I want to give a special shout out before I forget to Jameson Spees, who kind of discovered me when I was back in the late models, not really knowing what to do, and he kind of took me under his wing and showed me the ropes, and here we are today.
As we're watching your qualifying lap right now, Jason, going into turns number 3 and 4, walk me through that qualifying lap as far as what the car was doing and what you were trying to do behind the wheel, and we'll look at it once again on board from what you saw. Once again, walk us through it, every single inch. Remember, my friend, you're making about $35 a second on this lap.
Well, the scariest part of the lap was actually getting up to speed. I arced it a little too wide into turn 3, and it got loose, and I kind of had to feather it. And I was thinking, oh, geez, this might not be good. But it settled back down, and I checked my speed at the line, and it looked good. And I went into turn 1, and it drove into turn 1 decent, like not the best. And I checked my speed off of 2, and it looked good. And I threw it into 3, and it stuck really well, like it should if I take it right. And it stuck all the way through 3 and 4, and I hit my my tab key to look at the relative, and it was a 25, and I felt really good about that. It was really an uneventful lap, except the getting up to speed part.
Well, congratulations. Before we let you go, are you buying the beers tonight?
Well, I think that put a pretty big dent in the paycheck, huh?
There's only a few of us. But anyway, go have fun, Jason. Go. Well, don't drink too much and don't drink and drive, but go enjoy it, my friend. You have won the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge and the $1,000 that goes with it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Landon, for putting this on. Thanks again, iRacing, everybody who's helped me out to get where I am today. I couldn't have done it without any of you guys. And I still can't believe it.